Hello, I'm Quinny. Welcome to the channel. In this video today, guys, I'm going to be walking you through the basics on the market forces that will dictate when is a good time and when is a bad time to potentially enter the market and maybe sell, trade, realise profit, whatever. If you do like the video, please like it. It means a lot to me and it'll help somebody else who's not seen it. They might find it too and they might like it also. And if you find you're watching a couple of these videos and you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Helps me grow the channel and move us onwards and upwards, okay? I hope we have fun with this one, guys. I hope you enjoy it. Comments down below and let me know your thoughts and opinions. And let's get stuck into it. Now, I've got a lovely little kind of visual aid to go along with this, okay? Now, when I was kind of, I wrote the video out, kind of knew what I wanted to talk about, and I was trying to come up with a really cool name for the little, we're basically, you'll see the name of the video, the selling triangle, okay? But I tried to come up with a really cool name, and I kept thinking about, like, the Bermuda Triangle, and if I could maybe, like, adopt that and, manipulate that in such a way, but it just sounded all kind of naff. So, I'm just, on the diagram, I'm just calling it the market matrix. In the video, you've probably seen the name of the video, which is called the selling triangle. But these are the three factors that make up this triangle that I always keep at the forefront of my mind before I enter the marketplace. Okay, so I'm just going to call it, for the sake of the diagram, the market matrix. Okay, so we've got this little triangle. The very first thing that comes into play for us at every opportunity is going to be opportunity. Okay, so when we're working in the marketplace and when we're buying cards, selling cards, trading cards, all that kind of thing, opportunity is what's going to dictate any potential positive outcome or any potential negative outcome. Okay, so what I mean by opportunity is you might have bought a card that was out of season, out of form, injured, whatever, and then the opportunities came around where those factors have dissipated. Form is returned, goals are coming, clean sheets are coming, whatever, and you've got that opportunity to maybe realise something and enter something else, maybe sell something high, buy something else that's cheaper, that kind of thing. Or equally, it could just be you bought something and you had a goal in your mind of, I will sell this card when it gets to X amount of price, and that is an opportunity also. It might also be that you're hunting around in the marketplace and you're looking for a specific card you're after to drop down to a certain price. So all these different things are opportunities opening, and for me that is the foundation of my market activity, is about opportunity in terms of getting into something new or getting out of something old, and that should be the same for yourself. So the first thing you've always got to be mindful of and keep at the forefront of your mind is what opportunity is it you're trying to capitalize on, whether it be incomings or outgoings. What exactly an opportunity will look like will really depend on your own strategy. I recently dropped a video called 5 Steps to Building a Strategy on SoRare. If you haven't checked that out yet, I'll link in the description down for you below. But that's one thing, again, that, just taking one video in isolation is fine, but I really do recommend that you kind of tie all these different things up because they're all kind of interwoven, trying to assess whether something's a good opportunity, a bad opportunity, or something that should be capitalised upon is going to be dictated by your strategy, by the guidelines you've set out, and by the benchmarks that you set across your gallery and your account, really. The second part of this is demand. Okay, so as you'll be fully aware if you've been on the platform, or if you're just joining, this may be new information to you, but the majority of the marketplace is run on demand, of course, for players that are in form, or there might be household names, maybe collector's items, whatever. Demand will fluctuate across the market as just a matter of course, and it'll also fluctuate across individual positions. And what I mean when I say that is individual players, whether it be a Ronaldo, an Mbappe, or even that goalkeeper from the J League that you've been eyeing up. Demand will fluctuate for all positions at varying levels and varying rates right across the platform. So what you're always trying to assess is that demand. Is it going up for something that you would like to sell? Is it going down for something you've been waiting crucially to try and acquire and try and buy? This is something that, along with the opportunity, if you can marry them in together, you'll be looking to make use of a really good situation. So if you realise, for example, demand has went up on something you're maybe trying to sell, and equally something you're trying to buy has went down, that demand dynamic, along with the opportunity you've got of having something that's increasing value versus something you're looking to get that's perhaps decreasing value, that kind of half the triangle, if you like, is set up for a really good position to enter the market and do some trades and do some sales. But again, like I said a moment ago, that is really underpinned by your initial strategy. And if you don't know how to build a strategy, like I mentioned already, there's a link down below to help you get started with that. Now for me, this is probably the most crucial and maybe perhaps the most underutilized element of this little market matrix, this little selling triangle, and that is currency fluctuations. Okay, now currency fluctuations, that is a phrase you've probably heard of. You know, they're two relatively normal words. In the SoRare kind of ecosystem, we've also, you know, the whole thing is of course run on Ether. Ether is a cryptocurrency, in case you're not aware, and that does fluctuate. It moves up and down in value for varying reasons external to SoRare. I don't think any SoRare activities in particular really do fluctuate the price of ETH. It's a worldwide kind of currency, if that makes sense. So the movements it makes are fairly independent of developments that are on SoRare. No matter what country you're in, I do always recommend that you check Ether price against the dollar, because in the kind of crypto sphere, the dollar USD price is what people use for benchmarks and landmarks. You know, Bitcoin has got to 40,000, 50,000, you know, this kind of thing. Or Ether's breaking 2,000. It's always the dollar that's used as that kind of main market metric. For me personally, I'd always, in addition to, you know, just making sure you're aware of the currency and whatever, just a little kind of side note I'll add to you, is I would always actually be aware of your native currency versus the US dollar. The Great British Pound has done pretty well over the last year versus the dollar, so it just basically means your pound gets you more dollars. Over the last month it's been backwards a little bit after some kind of good highs, and sometimes what this will actually open up is an opportunity you might not even realise is present. The reason I kind of add that on as a footnote is because when I started, certainly anyway, the majority of the user base were probably operating in dollars. So my pricing for pounds, you know, I always found that having a preferential exchange rate between pounds and dollars actually meant I had a bit more buying power in the market, because my pounds were more valuable than most people's dollars for acquiring ETH, and the ETH to be to use in the marketplace, if that makes sense. But the kind of currency fluctuations I've experienced have included Ether going down in price, Ether going up in price. The dollar and the pound, as you've just seen in that graph, they've got some fluctuations to contend with also. And these currency fluctuations will open up opportunities in the market themselves. If Ether runs away, and what we've seen in the past, and I can only speak for what's happened in the past, but when Ether's ran away in the past, what you find is a lot of people get ETH, you know, what I call ETH greedy, and they want to actually get their hands on the Ether because they see that temporarily has been more valuable than the card, because Ether's running away and God knows where it ends. And then, you know, when Ether's rising like that, you'll see a lot of people enter the market and they might actually be selling at below average kind of ETH prices, what we've had before. Equally, if Ether is going down, you might find people will sell for a similar fiat level than what they would have before, but because the Ether prices went down versus the fiat price, the Ether you're looking to actually sell your card for actually goes up. So there's a lot of different variables that move around the currency fluctuations, and they can present massive opportunities for profiteering and for actually helping you get a good foothold in the marketplace itself. This little triangle, when it all does come together, and we kind of had this over, I suppose, February kind of time, Ether was on the up, demand was on the up before the Gary Vaynerchuk stuff that had happened and the increase in user base, and the opportunity was right there across for everyone who had been in the platform for the last little while, which is why if you're joining the platform now, you'll probably find a lot of people are in great positions in terms of their gallery structure, their profit margins, all this kind of stuff, because we've had one of those little perfect storms where that triangle has happened. You know, the price of Ether's rose, demand has also rose ahead of that, and the opportunity has been there for those that were already kind of seeded in the platform, already had a balance of cheap ETH, already had some high value cards whose value was growing with demand, and the price of actually acquiring the card in Ether has also risen. So we've had this perfect little triangle, this perfect little storm recently, and you know, it's kind of, it would be responsible of me to say this at this point, that perfect little storm, who knows if it'll ever happen again, whoever knows how often it will happen, but what you're always looking for when you're entering the market is to make use of one of these dynamics. Demand is going up, there's a currency fluctuation you can capitalize on, or there's just opportunity, you know, for something, you know, you've maybe got a player that somebody else really wants, and they've got something you really want, you can do a trade, or you can enter the market and just sell and buy, that kind of thing. But yeah guys, like I said twice already, I'll spend the last time, all of these decision making processes are interwoven with the strategy you'll be applying. So when I talk about opportunity, that'll mean something totally different to me than what it does to you. Okay, so please bear that in mind. I hope you've enjoyed the video today, guys. I'm really interested to hear your comments and thoughts down below. If I missed anything, is there anything you'd like a little bit more detail on? Is there anything I can expand on for you? Leave those comments down below and let me know what you think. Right now, I better put up on screen there's some other videos I've made you might like if you haven't seen them already. And again, like, subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.
referral.